I remember when we first started recording, I hit hard, right?
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and that would, so back in those days, there was all the recording session guys that, because we knew how to make records, but we
Okay.
also knew how to play live.
All right.
And we had both of those chops going, and there were two different things.
Sure.
And I'd never, I didn't come from the studio session guy
Did not?
thing.
Okay.
I came cold into not knowing anything. And so,
Can I ask though? So your first experiences in the studio were with Sly and the band, like, hey, we're gonna go make a record.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because, I started playing when I was 14.
Wow.
I was 17 and a half, December of 1966, when we started the group.
No
So
way.
It was, I didn't have any like session experience or anything,
Wow.
and the engineers, the Columbia engineers, which were pretty, they were they were recording hit after hit after hit, and they were there, these were sessions. They had their way to approach it, and it worked. And here we come like an independent group with our own thing, own sound. And they actually, I got to say, they didn't say, well, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. It was like they were listening at first and checking us out, where we're coming from. And
Okay.
going, okay, no, we need to learn how to capture what you're doing, So don't worry. Don't hit. So do your thing and we'll figure it out. And that's what they did.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
That's fun.
Hey, Greg, you should be in a band.
I should join one, huh?
Yeah, you should join a band, dude.
This is what I would traditionally use live and in the studio. Recording the records. I love the sound of this metal. It had that, I like to tune them up a little bit tighter. So I like the crispness, a little bit of ring, and to control the ring. In the studio live, I would just let it fly. The tracks we made and stuff that ended up being singles, I would always recut the drums after all the overdubs, and then the song morphed into what it was going to be, arrangement-wise, feel, vibe, everything. I'd recut the drums before mixing, put the cans on. This is before drum tracks, machines, or anything. So it was just a live track for reference. Anyway, and recut the drums and just hone in texture-wise, sound-wise, and arrangement and feel. And
Obviously, and those tracks were cut live, no click.
no. Thank you. Put on thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Okay.
That's so funky. This was a single. I remember
Okay.
the session that I did where I laid the drums down once again, the last thing before mixing.
That's so nuts.
So, and I can remember, I could remember I could remember doing it. I remember, okay, and a minute or two playing with it, whatever it was. I got this. I remember saying,
Li-
I don't need to look anymore. I got it. I mean, there were times where sounds and styles change, and I got out of it, but to have it now, all these decades later, I mean, it has its place. It's got its spot on the shelf, and it's very well defined, and feels great. If I didn't have my kit in the particular sessions, I would ask for that same drum, and CBS. This is before SIR and all that. I mean,
Wow.
They would have it. They used to have a lot of. Well, I think I don't know if they owned. They had bought Fender at one point.
CBS did?
Oh yeah, yes, CBS owned Fender, back in the late '60s.
Never heard that.
Yeah, and we. I don't know if they owned it outright, but there was an involvement in tie with Fender, and we ended up with all this Fender gear. So anyway, I would end up with that drum one way or the other, and just put heads on, tune it, and make it my own for any given session.
Here, let me swap for you. I'm a frustrated drum tech in another life.
Yeah, this is the one I used on that whole Betty Davis record.
Wow, man.
It did.
That's so cool.
It's a great voice, where needed, where, when you want that high-pitched crack, it's just nothing like it. You go to it, it just goes, whoo, the colors change, I used to go to Don Weir's Music City, which was on Columbus Avenue, North Beach, here in San Francisco. And we were friends, too, so I'd hang out there a
Sure.
lot. Something new came in, or sometimes
Check
we'd be
this out.
jamming. Yeah, I think was looking for, that high-pitched choke voice
Okay.
that this brings. So we had some sessions at CBS in San Francisco, and she was in town, and he asked me again. I said, yeah, bring her down to the studio. So she came down, and we met, started talking a little bit, and she told me about, she just got a deal with Michael Lang, who was the producer of Woodstock. And he had a label, Just Sunshine Records. And she got signed, and she wanted to do a record, and she wanted to know if I'd produce it. So, like I said, we hit it off, and and I agreed to produce it. And at that time, I mean, the Bay Area was like, all the people who were living in the Bay Area, it was like a kid in a candy store of selecting people to play. I had the Pointer Sisters on this record before they had their hit, Sylvester. Larry Graham on bass, Dougie Rauch on bass. I had the Tower Power horn section. It was
Wow.
just like,
Man, what an honor and a pleasure to meet you and talk with you about some of your experiences in the studio and how you approach your thought process behind drumming and the parts for these legendary songs that I've heard 1,000 times. Very, very, very eye-opening, and thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. My pleasure. It's to go back and think about some of those things in different perspectives and different situations. It's always good, especially when it's far and few in between you doing it. You know?
Right.
It's like nice. Like a couple of those things I had never visited since doing it.
Really?
Like I say, the Betty
Really?
stuff, you know. Yeah.
That's really incredible.
Yeah, it was kind of.
Man,
I
you
was
have
surprised myself because I like some of the stuff, like, you know, but you just kind of stay out of its way, let it happen.
Riding a bike.
That's how I always do the best, you know.
Riding a bike.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Seriously, thank you, Greg.
Yeah.
This was so amazing. Cheers, man.
Yeah. It was something that Sly had in his head, I remember. And he goes, I'm going to be gone for about a week or two. When I come back, I hear it. I know I'm going to get it. And he did. He disappeared for a week or two, and he came back. I remember when he played it for me. He goes, this is going to blow your mind. And he puts it on, and I go, holy shit, you know. Because, and I don't remember what we had before he went in and did that. I don't even remember. But I do have copies of different approaches of it.
So
And
amazing.
Again, they were like, one had nothing to do with the other. That was one of those songs. Believe it or not, one of the most important things that create that conceptually
Okay.
is the hi-hat. No, I'm talking about as far as just the drums.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, melodically, that's the whole other complexity. But it's the hi-hat, and it's that bounce sitting on top of the beat.
It's bouncing
right there.
and it's swinging.
Yeah, exactly.
But also you're swinging
exactly.
the kick.
Swinging is that's one of the most important things of it. It's swinging, you know.